Yeah, Paul, I just wanted to know from your perspective, what was it about Real Salt Lake that just didn't allow Seattle to be as dynamic and effective as they've been offensively throughout the first part of the early season?
Yeah, I think obviously, facing different teams is always going to, present us different challenges. And, they were pretty aggressive on us. They were pretty good physically in duels. Um, and I felt like, you know, once you go down one nil away, it could be hard sometimes. And I think they managed the game pretty well and, forced us into a lot of uncomfortable situations and isolated situations where lately we've been able to get the ball up the field a lot, create numbers in and around the box, and have multiple options when we get around there. And today we just weren't able to do that for one reason or another. But from our perspective, we have to be better. These games matter to us, are super important, and um, now it's a short turnaround, so we gotta kind of focus on what's to come.
Jade Evans.
Thanks. Steph, can you kind of explain a little bit of what happened on that first goal that that knew who scored basically?
Yeah, I mean they come down. I still have to watch it, but they come down the right side, and at times we struggled on both sides in the very beginning with figuring out like do we drop back into a line of five, or do we slide over quicker, and we're able to push a guy up and contest the crosses. In that instance, I don't know if that would have been an option, but the cross comes in, and I try to take a step off my post and help my teammates out. And then I knew we didn't hear it, and he tries to make a play for the ball. Then we see what happens there. Those are the things that we sometimes talk about communication. You have to really try to train those things in training, because that's where you can hear things. And sometimes it's difficult when you have fans, but unfortunate obviously, but it hurts nonetheless, especially again the timing. We just had a good chance. We think we should have scored a goal, gets taken back, and then instead of being up 1-0, you find yourself down 1-0 right away. That's tough. And like Paul said, especially on the road in a place that's historically speaking has been difficult for us. You cannot dig yourselves holes like that. So we have to try to find ways to be sharper and eliminate those mistakes, because I think we're a really good squad, and we've obviously now in league shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times, and we got to sort that out. It's early on in the season, but I think when we do that, we'll be all right. We're a very, very talented squad. Everybody believes in each other, and I think if we sort out those things, we'll be all right.
What is the conversation like for either one of you? I guess maybe probably even at halftime when you said there is an opportunity there. There was a couple opportunities to score, and you also shoot yourself in the foot. So what is the conversation like at halftime to kind of regroup?
Yeah, like I said, I think one of the things we wanted to make sure was, even though it didn't come to fruition for them, but especially on the left side in the first half, we struggled with applying pressure to guys crossing balls in, and maybe we lost a little bit of depth sometimes. When you're higher up the field, not higher, but in the mid zone and closing in on your own, that's where you have to have the depth. You have to be able to contest crosses, especially in altitude like this. If you're going to let guys whip in free balls, there's a couple of moments. I think JB had a really good clearance at one point too. So we were aware that we needed to adjust there. That was spoken about at halftime, and then just keep going, make slight adjustments. And obviously we knew we were making some changes too, Paul and other guys coming in, and keep pushing for the equalizer. Couldn't find it.
Jeremiah O'Shan.
Yeah, Paul, you guys have been generating a lot of offense going into today's game. You had, maybe the numbers probably don't look quite as good as they should have been with the two offside calls there, but I don't know, does this feel like a step back, or is it something where you're not too worried about the long-term impacts of a performance like this?
No, I'm not worried. I mean, look, we've all had games where you have to find ways to win. You're not gonna we're gonna try and be as offensive and create as much danger as we can. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to one or two plays that make the difference. And that, that again, just going off the offsides goals, like, we give one of those, and we're in a good spot. So, collectively, like Steph said, we all believe in ourselves. We all believe in each other. We have a very good locker room, really strong, competitive internally. And, the step for us is going to be finding ways to win games when we're not at our best, or when we're presented, different challenges in different games. Go down a goal, how can we respond? How can we stay it in and try and nick a goal? But, again, that's why we have the depth of this team for different guys to step up, and not one person is gonna have to carry that load. And I'm confident in that there's going to be plenty of guys that will make huge plays throughout the season to win us games. Today, unfortunately, we didn't do that, but I'm confident that we'll get better at that and figure out ways to continue to win games and grow.
And then, Steph, if I could just follow up real fast, or not follow up, but another question. We've talked a lot about the struggles at Real Salt Lake. Is there anything that you can point to and say, this is something that happens, or is it really, I don't know, it seems crazy to say something randomly happens for, 13 years in a row, but I don't know, how do you explain the struggles at RSL?
I don't know if I had the solution for me, I can't remember last time I won here, to be honest with you. So if I had the solution and it was an easy fix, I would have shared that with the team a long time ago. So I can't put my finger on it. It's like I said, I think it's the game is such a fine line, and it's on a knife's edge, and especially when you're at a place like this. One goal is goes one way or goes the other way, and we've just not been able to make sure that it goes our way. I can't. I wish I had the answer. Like I said, I don't, and I don't think it's one way or another. If they've changed a lot, if their personnel has changed a lot, coaching staff over the last 13 plus years has changed a lot. So there isn't a constant where you're like, okay, we ought to be able to figure this out by now. I think we knew, having enough players on that are veterans, what the challenges are of playing at altitude. And I think that one actually didn't come too much into play today. With, shots from distance, balls moving, crossing difficult, and obviously the lungs. I think we handled that challenge quite well, but there's obviously an opponent on the other side too that you need to figure out too, and we were able to do that today.
Felipe Miquera, go ahead.
La pregunta es para Paul. Paul, ¿cuánto influye la rotación de los jugadores en el desarrollo del partido? Sabemos que hay muchos encuentros que son constantes, pero ¿cuánto influye la rotación en los resultados?
Sí, no sé, la verdad, es una pregunta difícil para contestar, pero lo que puedo decir es, tenemos la confianza en todos, tenemos que confiar en cada uno de nuestros compañeros, y para mí hoy me tocó de suplente y intenté cambiar el partido, pero también es algo difícil para el cuerpo técnico, ¿no? Para decidir eso, para mantener ritmo y también manejar los minutos de todos sin arriesgar lesiones y todo eso. Pero para mí me siento que todos están confiados en lo que estamos haciendo acá. No es que enfocamos en un partido más que otro. El bueno es que tenemos un roster muy profundo que podemos usar muchos jugadores y tienen la oportunidad para demostrar que pueden jugar y pueden ayudar a este equipo. Es lo que yo quiero hacer, es lo que yo siempre trato de hacer. Y sí, pero en el fin hay muchos veteranos acá en el club y ellos entienden lo que es jugar muchos partidos entre semana, en un mes, en 3 meses. Entonces, tenemos que seguir eso y creyendo que estamos haciendo las cosas mejor posible.
Gracias.
We have time for a couple more. So we'll go to Jose Moreno. Go ahead and ask your question.
Gentlemen, the result didn't come as planned. However, with such a short week, I think it's healthy to look towards positives. And Paul, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is on the TV copy that we were fed. There was a moment when the second half was about to start, and you went up to Nuhu and had a pretty healthy and positive interaction with them. How important has it been for you to not only adapt to the squad, but to be able to build those relationships with some of the newer players to you, as it pertains to having this fixture congestion and Frei, same with you. You were on the TV copy. We were able to see some of the positive interactions that you were having with your defense even after that conceded goal.
Yeah, I think just we're on a journey together, right? Each year is different, and you don't. Each year it's never going to be the same group, and for me just to come into the group and throw myself into the locker room and with all my teammates and just embrace the situation and how they've embraced me, that leads to a lot of confidence on the field. For me specifically, playing on the left early on this year, just constantly communicating with Nuhu, and the understanding that he has my back and I have his back at all times, and I believe those relationships will continue to get stronger, and they'll pay dividends when we're in the war, when we're in the 80th minute, in the 85th minute, when we're grinding, when the game isn't going our way, when plan A isn't working, so we're going to plan B. Like all these things, there's a certain aspect that you take as soccer, and then there's another aspect of relationship that push you a little bit further and help you, because the collective is the most important. So just doing that is great. And that's kind of what I have to say on that.